Good morning, friends. Welcome to online classes. I am Dr. Swati Brahmsingh, Head Department of English from SVKT College. Today, we are going to do imitation theory. This topic is prescribed in special English at TYBA level. Till now, what we have done in this topic or in this paper, it is definition of literary criticism, understanding what is criticism, what is literary criticism, origin of literary criticism, principles and functions of literary criticism. Now, today's agenda, what all we are going to do is understanding the meaning of imitation. Then theory of imitation, then Plato and Aristotle as a literary critic, and after this I'll be giving you assignment and assessment of this session. So first of all, we have to understand the word imitation. Then what is the relevance of this word in literary criticism? Then imitation theory given by Plato and Aristotle, whether poetry is an art of imitation or art of creation. Contrast between Aristotle and Plato's theory. So, before we start imitation theory, let's see some background, some information about Plato. Plato was a great Greek critic of literature, a philosopher and a thinker. He was also a fine literary stylist, great storyteller, and he is the one who introduced theory of imitation in literary criticism. Who's Aristotle? Aristotle as a philosopher, Aristotle as a literary critic. He was born in 384 BC and died in 322 BC. He entered the academy, but soon Plato died and Aristotle left the academy because he was a true disciple of Plato. Not only this, he was the mentor of great Alexander. He was a founder of literary criticism. He is credited for the first systematic work of literary criticism. He is the author of critical work, The Poetics. The great Dante called him the master of those who know. And about Aristotle, Plato told that he himself is the mind. Aristotle and literary criticism. Aristotle was the great disciple of Plato, but his views are somewhat different from his master's view on poetry. His work, The Poetics, is a kind of covert reply to his great master Plato. The Poetics, his critical work, is a systematic exposition of the theory and practice of poetry. Now, let's see what is the word imitation or what is the meaning of imitation. If we take this word in a regular sense, we say imitation is copying. But the word imitation, who used this word first in literary context and who has given the new meaning to this word, let's discuss this. So first of all, the meaning of the word imitation. Imitation is copying somebody. This word comes from the word mimesis from Greek. It is having psychological relevance. All the action in our life are the results of imitation. We can divide imitation in two parts, inward imitation and outward imitation. Inward imitation is related to the religion, to the behavior, to the belief, cultural based behavior and etc. Outward imitation is copying somebody's style, copying somebody's dress, copying somebody's hairstyle. So, imitation is of two types, inward and outward. Inward is related to our behavior, to our belief, to our religious ideas, and outward is related to fashion, to looking somebody, to somebody's personality, to somebody's dress and so on. Now, imitation in literature. So, it was Plato who used this word first for literature and for poetry. He told that poetry is nothing but an act of copying. And you all can agree with me that whenever we try to copy something, it means we are going for a lesser activity, because copy cannot be considered as original. So Plato always considered poetry as an act of imitating or copying something. But second step, it was his disciple Aristotle who came to picture with a different idea, and he told that poetry is not merely copying, rather it is recreation with the help of imagination. So this is a major two ideas we see in literature regarding the word imitation. First, it was given by Plato, and Plato used this word in a negative sense. He used this word for a work for lesser quality. But his own disciple, Aristotle, he refuted all the charges and he gave a new meaning to the word imitation in literature. Now, one by one, we will see idea or the views or perspective of both these great scholars, Plato and Aristotle. First, we will see idea of Plato about this word imitation. According to him, the nature is only true and other materials are imitation or copy of the truth. Remember what he says, copy of the truth. Ki whenever you are trying to imitate something, you are merely copying something. You are not contributing something. You are just seeing something and copying something. So literature and poetry are not true. It is just imitation of nature. He goes further a step ahead where he says even nature is not original, because nature is created by God and God first have an idea in his mind. That idea was converted into nature, and when poet is looking at the nature, he is creating poetry. So it means it is a copy of copy. Further, he says the example, or he gives the example of carpenter and the chair. When we say this chair is created by carpenter, so it's not a creation, it is a copy. Copy of what? Copy of the idea. First, idea comes in the mind, then that idea is converted into an object. So we cannot say this object is real or this object is true, because the object is the copy of an idea. So carpenter and the chair, these are the two things, but the chair is not the creation of carpenter, it is the copy of the idea which carpenter had in his mind. So if in nutshell or if in systematic way we see Plato's view on imitation, so he says that there are two types of art. One is useful art and one is imitative art. Useful art can be taken as agriculture or a medicine, which is created through the needs. कि need है, we create the result for that need, whether it's medicine or whether it's agriculture. But imitative art is poetry, which we do after seeing an object. So idea was the truth or reality, and the word is mere representation of reality. To make it more clear, let me tell you that as per Plato, poetry is thrice removed from reality. Remember the word thrice removed from reality. How? First is the idea. Second is the creation of that idea into reality. So two steps. First was idea in the mind of creator, and creator is God. Second is the creation of that idea into reality. So two steps, like God thought of a flower in his mind and then he created the flower. So these are the two steps. Then comes the man or the poet. He looks at that flower and then he creates daffodil poem. It means daffodil poem is twice removed from reality, because first was idea, second was daffodil, third was looking at that daffodil, and then the poem. So this was the argument of Plato regarding poetry and imitation. He says that imitation is nothing but appearances, copy of appearances, and hence it is twice removed from reality. It is the shadow of the shadow. How it is the shadow of the shadow? Like I told, idea, daffodil, and then author or the poet looking at that daffodil and creating the poem on that daffodil. So he says that poetry is nothing but a mother of all lies. This is the big charge Plato made against poetry. He says that poetry corrupts human being. It takes morality from human being. It takes human being on a wrong path by showing false ideas, false reality. Hence, all the poets should be banished from society. So this was the biggest charge of Plato about poetry, about imitation. Plato made all the charges against poetry, against imitation, and he says that when you are copying something, the quality has to suffer. Hence, there is no scope of imagination, no scope of creation. It is just a copy. And when you are copying something, you are creating rivals for morality in human being. It takes you away from moral path. It takes you to a wrong path. You start, or human beings start believing in wrong things, because it uses your lesser emotions. Love, passion, these are nothing, because these are the copy of an idea. It misguides people. Hence, all the poets should be banished from society, from country, because they corrupt young mind. These are the all charges made by Plato against imitation, against poetry. Now, first, it is clear that imitation theory was given by Plato. According to him, the nature is the only truth and other materials are the copy of that idea. He believes that poetry is harmful. Why it is harmful? Because it is twice removed from reality. The actual idea, the creation of that idea into object, then looking at that idea, then creating something after seeing that idea, and then misguiding people of the country. So these are the charges. But Aristotle, who was the disciple of Plato, he made a strict argument in favor of poetry. Whatever charges were made by Plato against imitation and against poetry, Aristotle rejected all those ideas and he breathed into new meaning in the word imitation. Now, we'll see what all dimensions and significance are given to the word imitation by Aristotle. So, Aristotle's concept of imitation. As per Aristotle, this word is an imperfect word because it was created on that idea which was there in the mind of God. Hence, when poet is looking at this object or the nature or the creation, he mix his perception with imagination, and whatever lacuna he finds in this so-called original word, poet tries to recreate. That is the major difference between Aristotle and Plato. Plato says it is a copy, Aristotle says it is recreation, because he finds the word has many lacunas, many drawbacks, which poet recreates by mixing his imagination and try to present alternate reality in front of human being. So instead of corrupting human race or human emotions, poets has a bigger job to present an alternate reality to all the readers. He does not pay more attention to morality, on which Plato made his charges. He says that poetry is a fine art. It is based on creation, recreation, imagination, and he compare poet with God. As God created this world on that one idea, the poet also recreate alternate reality. It is a reproduction in accordance with the poet's idea. So now you just see Plato has pulled down everything. Now it is chance of Aristotle to uplift those things which were put in a negative sense. He says that poetry is not merely copying, but it's a creative version or alternate reality. Through imitation, the poet can make something out of real and actual. How? When you are recreating something, when you are looking at something and you are finding that there is some drawback in this and you are putting your imagination and you are creating, it means you are putting a fresh thing in front of human being. By following those new things, a man can always work for betterment. So now we come to the medium of imitation. Like every art is a creative art, but every art is different from one art to another on the basis of medium. Like poetry and painting, though both are fine arts, but they are different from each other on the medium ground. Like for painter, it is different color and paint, and for poet is different because he works on harmony and music and rhythm. Now, object of poetic imitation. Like when we talk of word imitation, we talk about inward imitation, outward imitation. Okay, so for poetic imitation, it is a man in action. What a person is trying to imitate? A person who's already playing his role in this world. A person of a lower category or person or a better category. So after seeing a person's behavior, he becomes the object of poetic imitation. Like many great work, whether we take from Indian culture, Ramayana, Mahabharata, so Krishna was an object of imitation and he gives a message: never give up or to fight on battle. When we talk about Ramayana, we follow Lord Ram, which was a creation of a poet. So imitation in poetry is clearly distinct from photographic representation. It has blood, soul, emotion and many things. It involves creative imagination. Like tragedy and epic deals with man with better than man in real life. Like I gave you example of Lord Krishna and Lord Rama. When we talk about comedy and satire, so we take person from a lesser or lower category in real life, because we should not forget that every human being is blessed at least with 9 emotions, and whether he is a warrior or he is a coward, whether he is a politician or a child, everybody is blessed with at least minimum 9 emotions. So after reading a work or after going through a poem, we realize that emotion in ourselves and we try to control those emotions and we try to enhance those good emotions, and that makes all the difference. Now let's discuss the major difference between Aristotle and Plato. So first difference comes, the theory was given by Aristotle and theory was given by Plato, and he gave this theory in the sense of copying something. He considered imitation merely as mimicry or a servile copy of nature, whereas Aristotle interpreted it as a creative process. Like one side Plato told that all the poets should be banished from society, other side Aristotle told that poets are as per the poet can be compared with the God. As God has created this world, poets are creating alternate reality for human being. Plato compared poetry with painting, but Aristotle compared poetry with music. Now contrast between Plato's theory and Aristotle's theory. Poetry presents a copy of nature as it is. Poetry is twice removed from reality. It is a shadow of shadow. How? The idea, the word, poet's perspective and creation of poetry. So he says, Plato says that it is a shadow of shadow. Here first shadow is used for this word, for this nature, and second shadow is used for the poetry. Plato takes up the cudgel on behalf of philosophy and shows that philosophy is superior to poetry. He always said that even history, philosophy, all sciences are better than poetry because they work on creation and poetry works on imitation. But Aristotle refuted all these charges and he says poetry may imitate man as they are or better or worse, but it gives us idealized version of reality, which is missing in this original word. Idealize reality. Because if we say in the end of the day, evil is always defeated and good always becomes victorious, it means this message is teaching human being to be afraid of evil. or to do good thing in life. So this way we are idealizing the reality. He takes the cudgel on behalf of poetry and effectively brings out its superiority over all the sciences, because he says that philosophy may be good, but it is very dry. It doesn't give you solace to your soul and to your mind. Poetry teaches those things in a much better or easy manner, and at that same time it keeps your mind at ease. So as per Plato, poetry is not worthy. Poet should be banished from society. But as per Aristotle, it is different from reality because it is presenting alternate reality, and the medium of imitation and object of imitation is totally different. And by using these two methods, the alternate reality or idealized reality is presented in front of human being. Now, Plato compared to poetry to what? So if we remember the whole theory, Plato compared poetry to painting and to philosophy, whereas Aristotle compared poetry to music. He compared poetry to alternate reality. Now we have come to the end of this session. But before that, I give you this assignment. What you have to do, you have to divide your paper in two parts. First side you write the interpretation of Plato's theory of imitation, and on the other side of page you have to write down 4 main points of Aristotle's theory of imitation. Now, the main points of this whole session, whole agenda. Plato was a great critic, there's no doubt. He gave imitation theory. He is the first one to use this word in the context of poetry. He believed that poetry is harmful for society, but his own disciple Aristotle gave a new meaning, new clarification to the word imitation. He restored higher position for poetry by giving it a different dimensions, that poetry is not merely copying, but instead it is an act of creation. Hence, poet and God can be put together at one place. So this is our overall imitation theory, where first we have discussed the meaning of imitation, then meaning of imitation in literary sense, the meaning of poetic imitation, then who used this word? It was Plato. Then idea of Plato about imitation theory and poetry, and idea of Aristotle on imitation theory. The big contrast between these two great writers, one was mentor, one was mentee. Plato was mentor, Aristotle was mentee. Still he confronted his own mentor and he gave a new meaning to the word imitation. By giving this new meaning to the imitation, he lifted the place of poetry in our life. Thank you so much. Have a great day. And in next session, we will be dealing another topic in literary criticism. Thank you very much.